This is indeed a very strange and a real creepy true story. It all began in the legendary location, the Isle of Man. In the early 20th century, this bizarre story got loads of press in the British tabloids. September of 1931, the Irving family was sitting down enjoying a nice home-cooked meal when all of a sudden they started to hear scratches on the wall. They didn't think much of it at the time and figured it must be a rat or some sort of small animal trapped within the walls. Over time, the scratching would become more and more frequent. Then one day the family heard a voice coming from within the walls. This voice introduced itself to the family as Jeff. It told the Irvings that it was a very clever talking mongoose and that it was born in 1852 in New Delhi, India. According to the family, Jeff was the size of a small rat with yellowish fur and a very large bushy tail. Jeff told the family that it was an earthbound spirit, a ghost in the form of a mongoose. It also said that it was a freak of nature. Jeff and the Irvings became very close. Jeff would guard the house when they were out and inform them if anyone was approaching. Jeff would also keep a close eye on the fire, as the Irvings would constantly forget to put it out. Jeff would also make sure none of the family members overslept. Jeff would assume the role of a house cat and help the family with their rodent problems, although Jeff would rather scare them than kill them. Over time, Jeff was considered to be another member of the family. Now, this story of Jeff spread like wildfire among the local residents. Eventually, every newspaper in Britain wrote a story about Jeff. People were amazed by the story, and they all flocked to the Isle of Man in hopes that they could get a glimpse of Jeff, the talking mongoose. After years of investigations, there was no real evidence that Jeff actually existed. But most of the investigators also didn't think that the Irvings were making this up. During one of the investigations, they caught Vori, the young daughter of the family, making noises, trying to fool the investigators. They also uncovered that the walls within the Irvings' house were very hollow and someone could easily play a prank on the family, making many people believe that the young daughter was in fact the very clever talking mongoose. Some also suggested that James had a split personality and he was Jeff. Now, after years of journalists writing articles saying that this was a hoax, the story of Jeff faded and was mostly forgotten. But here's where things get a little interesting. Jeff would only talk to the Irvings, but on some rare occasions, other residents of the Isle of Man swore that they heard the voice of Jeff when they were spying on the Irvings. When the Irvings moved out in 1945, the new owner said that he caught and killed Jeff, but he told the press that Jeff was black and white, not yellow. The daughter Vori even went to her deathbed saying that Jeff was real. There was also pictures taken of the alleged Jeff, as well as some footprints, which I will show at the end of this video. Now, whatever the case may be, Jeff is indeed a very bizarre and a very creepy story in its own way, and I love it. Stories like these, even if they are hoaxes, make us all wonder and imagine.